We are in Los Cabos. Or is that where we are?
Yeah.
Or is it San
Jose.
San Jose, Los Cabos? First time in Mexico, and thus far I must say I am very impressed. Very nice, really nice people, enjoying the whole experience. Food's been good so far, and really excited to be here and to race.
Were you originally expecting to do this race?
No, the plans seem to change quite a bit. I expected to do well in Kona and then go to Ironman Florida and get a validation spot, but that couldn't be further from what happened. So. Kona was quite obviously a humbling experience, but also a little scary because I do really think I pushed myself in the bad way to a place where I don't ever want to go again. And so I said, you know what, instead of forcing it and whatever, slapping together a nutrition plan or something, I'm going to take Ironman Florida off the list, go have some fun, connect with my roots, which is the 70.3, and then in the background make some changes and hopefully come out a better Ironman athlete on the other side.
So did you see Kona on the horizon before it happened?
No, I was pretty oblivious. And what's hilarious, I think you could probably go back in the archives from last year or the year before when I did the whole Kona nutrition. I like literally made a video about this on Kona nutrition, on Ironman nutrition, hot Ironman nutrition. And I think in that video, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but in that video, I literally tell myself to watch this video. Here it is, from now on. This video at least will go up one view 1 week before every single Ironman that I do because I'm going to watch it and remind myself of all these lessons. So, sorry, not sorry. And I wish I would have watched that video because I went into Kona this year with no plan whatsoever, and I was like, oh, I'll just drink when I'm thirsty. But my sweat rate is so insanely high that that's just physically impossible for me to rely on drinking when I'm thirsty. And so after Kona this year, I did just a quick 1 hour test to see what is my sweat rate in those conditions. And undoubtedly on the bike, my sweat rate is about 2.2 liters per hour, and in the run is about 3 liters an hour. And so then I crunched the numbers, and what was the big difference between 17 and 19? Well, in 17, I was pretty aware of this extreme sweating, and I took 11 bottles on the bike. And in 2019, I took 5 total bottles on the bike. So that alone is 6 bottles less, which is 4.2 less liters of fluid, or 4.2 more liters lost. But even when I consumed the 11, that was still, I still came off the bike in a deficit. If you crunch the numbers at 2.2 liters an hour for 4.25 hours. And so that's over 9 liters. And so this year in 2019, sweating in the bike approximately 9.5 liters. I consumed 3.5 liters, 5 bottles. So coming off the bike, I'm at a approximate 6 liter deficit, which is close to 13 pounds of fluid loss, which if you divide that in by my weight, coming off the bike, I was almost 8% dehydrated. The general consensus for performance decline is 2 to 3% dehydration, and 5% is the danger zone. So I'm coming off the bike at nearly 8% dehydration. My vision was already starting to get blurry, and I was extremely disoriented, and that makes perfect sense as to why. And then, so generally when you get up past 10% dehydration, that's like literally body shutting down, heat stroke. No longer will you be able to do any form of activity because the body is going into self-preservation mechanism. And that's precisely what happened. I ran for approximately 30 minutes. I did something resembling running, and then I slowed to a level of exercise that required probably very little sweating because it was pretty well walking. And I probably actually didn't lose much weight from then on. I might even have put some weight on from a half hour onwards because I was moving so slowly. But anyways, easily the numbers compute to the 10% loss, which I observed on the scale, measuring before and after. And the hilarious part of the whole thing is that I literally made a video about the importance of this the year previous. And so that's why I'm an idiot. And that's why, and this is actually the great conclusion from the race.
No.
Rough on him now.
No, he needs to know.
Okay.
He's always crying.
Tough love it is, tough love. Wake up, idiot.
Is that I can't do it alone. And, I have all these, I've learned so many lessons over the years. I have all these pieces, they're all over the place. And I get infatuated with one of the pieces, and it takes all my thinking, and then I forget about the other pieces. And that's precisely what happened this year. It was a very, very important piece. So the conclusion was that I can't do it alone. I need help. I need someone to help me organize the pieces. And so then let's reflect back. When did I have all my best races? Well, I started working with David Tilbury Davis at the end of 2016, after Kona, after having a not great performance there and being very disappointed. We started working together. And then I had a very good performance 1 month later at Ironman Arizona. And then in 2017, I did very well. I won every race I entered other than 2, which was second in St. George to Alistair Brownlee by 30 seconds, and then second to Patrick Langa in Kona by 2 minutes and 27 seconds. And it was a fantastic season. And at the end of the season, because I'm an arrogant idiot, I think, could do it all myself. And then I went off on my own, and you know the conclusion of 2018 already. So anyways, long story short, I asked David if he would be willing to work with me again. And he was willing to work with me again, and I was grateful for that. And so yeah, that's the big, and I think probably a great change that's come out of this is that David and I are going to work together again, and I think it's extremely important for me because I do believe I've learned a lot, amassed tons of knowledge, but I can't put it all together, obviously. And of course, there's still lots of things that we need to improve. And so David's going to help me with that, and I'm really excited for the future, and I'm really excited. It takes almost like a weight off my shoulders because it's like, it's not 100% me relying on me to make sure that I have everything, the I's dotted, the T's crossed. Now at least I have some help, and I have a bird's eye view looking in at what I'm doing, giving feedback, giving comments. Because if I had someone, let's say middle of September of this year say, so give me a detailed description of what you plan to do from a nutritional standpoint in terms of fluid consumption and calorie consumption and electrolyte consumption. And if I told them what was reverberating around in my mind, which was basically nothing, that would have been very alarming for a person knowledgeable about racing in extreme conditions for a very long time. So that's the big piece, and I'm excited for the future, and excited to continue to improve and to move on from what was a very difficult and unfortunately self-inflicted result.
You don't read the comments on your YouTube videos, but a lot of your fans asked if you would consider getting a coach. Do you think that in any way played in consideration of you getting a coach?
Well, no, I didn't see any. I appreciate those comments. I appreciate people's concern, and it's rightful and it's due. And you have to be ready for change. And I was ready after 2018. I already talked about this in the previous video. I was ready, and I had already brought on a training advisor, and it just didn't work out. And really, looking back, I should have just started working with David again, because we know each other well. We had a good system together. No ego. That's a big component of an athlete-coach relationship. You have to be able to say what you think, and the coach has to be able to say what they think, and not be afraid of hurting each other's feelings or stepping on each other's toes or having little baby hissy fits and things. And so David and I work really well together in that regard. And so yeah, I mean, I didn't really need to read the comments to come to that conclusion on my own. I just needed to walk for approximately 2.5 hours in the extreme conditions of Kona and watch, I was in, I think, 4th place at one point, and watch 18 people pass me.
You seem like someone who is pretty hard-headed when it comes to your decisions and stuff. Do you think that you have the power or have what it takes in you to let go and let someone else tell you when enough is enough?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm at a stage in my career where I am ready to listen. I am ready to, of course, I'm going to have an opinion, and this is why David and I work well together, is because we have disagreed, and that's okay to disagree. But you justify why you disagree with me, I justify why I disagree with you. We give it 24 hours, and then we come back, and I'm certainly, there's going to be times where I'm going to come back and say, you know what, you're right. And probably less so, David will come back and say, no, you're right to me, but it may happen. And that's having confidence that someone is going to set the ego aside and go back and do that reflection egolessly, I think is important, and I feel that I have that relationship. And so yes, I'm ready to grow and to, my opinions are my opinions, but I'm ready to also listen and learn. And quite frankly, I mean, I have all the pieces. It's just like, it's ridiculous. I feel like, I'm like having to like pump myself up or something. Like, I've had good results. I've shown that I can do well. But what I did in 17 was much different than what I did this year and what I did in 2018. So it's more about getting back and analyzing what did we do right and what did we do wrong, and making those corrections. And so that's what we'll do. And so that's how we'll move forward.
Do you have any advice more so for not only yourself, but you think people that are running into a similar issue of letting go and trusting others, whether it's life or coaching or whatever?
I agree. That's a great question, because it's taken me years, and David gets this too. I really like him because we talked about this. And when you've been self-coached for so long, or self-made, if you want to say it like that, you almost become like, very hesitant to, you're like, no, I did this. This is my project. And you baby it, and you're like, I don't want anyone to touch my project, which happens to be me, working on me, improving me. But you can only get so far with that attitude. And look at all the best guys. Look at Jan, look at Sebastian, look at Tim, look at Patrick, look at Cam. They all have great teams around them who they trust. And it's too much. Yes, no one knows you better than you. That, no one can debate that. But you can't really see you objectively. You get infatuated with certain things, and this is really important right now. And it's like, no. You need someone who's not invested, like deeply invested, because you are the most deeply invested in your life. You need someone kind of looking, and I think this is true for everyone. This is a conclusion I'm coming to from this humbling experience. You need that bird's eye view, giving you feedback, saying, no, this is what you're missing. I don't want to defend you or anything, but this is what you're missing right now. Take it for what it is. And then if you still have someone with a third objective, looking in, giving you feedback, and you still don't take it, well, then you're an idiot and there's nothing we can do for you. But you need that objective feedback, looking in, analyzing what you're doing, giving you feedback on a regular basis, keeping you on track, so that you don't make stupid mistakes, so that you do perform to your best when it counts. And, you know, it's a double-sided piece right now for me. It's like I feel like my career is running out, but then I'm getting inspired by guys like Jan and Tim who are having great races at 38, 39 years old. So I have a real deep sense of urgency right now because I'm like, oh my God, this is 2 Konas in a row that have gone horrible. And so there's a deep, deep sense of urgency, like, oh my gosh, my career is passing me by. But the bright side of this whole thing, after having 2 bad Konas, is that there is light. That even Ben had a great. He didn't make it to Kona last year and then turned it around. Had a great race. Jan obviously didn't make it to Kona last year. Turned it around. Had a great race. Tim's been doing well each year, but anyways, it is inspiring to watch what these guys are doing, and it shows that. I mean, if you do things right and you do have that team, a good team around you, objective people looking in and giving you feedback, that maybe you can still race well at 38, 39, 40. I mean, look at Jan. He's 38 years old. He won by like 8 minutes. Imagine if he gives back 2 minutes a year. He's gonna be tied at 42 years old. This is inspiring stuff we're witnessing right now. It's great. I just wish I was part of it, and it sucks when you're not part of it and you feel that you could at least make some form of a contribution. So this is a change that has come, and I'm excited to improve.